Cue the music, cue the lights, because that's all I have. This is Jacksonville's fifth best YouTube channel with your boy Sean. I say fifth best YouTube channel. This is Jaggin Out. I had to rebrand my name actually because I discovered, and I apologize for being a chode and stealing this other dude's name. This other dude has had a Jaggin Off show for years, I think, and I'm new on the scene, so I sincerely apologize for taking your Jaggin Off brand. So I'm rebranding. The name of my show is actually going to be Jaggin Out from now on, and I apologize for stealing Jaggin Off. That is a way cooler name than Jaggin Out, but this is home of Jacksonville's fifth best local coverage. Like I said, I am not smart when it comes to football. I really know nothing. I'm going to banter, and I mostly talk a lot of shit about the players. I love this team to death, but if you just want some nonsensical analysis and a good laugh, you've tuned into the right spot. I even just picked my nose right there like Trevor Lawrence a little bit, so you're definitely in the right spot. So welcome to Jaggin Out, home of Jacksonville's fifth best local coverage, and we are going to go over the Jags versus Titans postgame. This is 3 wins in a row for your Jacksonville Jaguars, which doesn't happen a lot out of here. And cheers to that. I always have my little wine glass after each win because, man, this feels good to beat that brakes off the Titans. I hate the Titans. I'll get into that as well. We're going to go over by the stats. We'll go over a Trevor watch where I analyze Trevor Lawrence's play, and then we'll go over the turd of the week. So the turd of the week, 3 weeks running, is Brian Thomas Jr. We know I can't stand that man, but did he win it this week? He was back on the field. Somehow he's won it without being on the field. Turd of the week goes to the worst Jag of the week. And then lastly, we'll go over the Jag of the week and my Buckman Bridge watch. So the likelihood that I will jump off the Buckman Bridge after a Jags game. Like I've said in my other podcasts, usually when you go to a Jags game, I've been there, home and away games, you're usually just coming home with a sunburn, pissed off, hungover, your wife has to pull over the car, and you jump out of the car. Sometimes it's moving. This has happened to me on the Buckman Bridge, the place that separates the nice side of Jacksonville, the shitty part. You jump out of your moving vehicle and you make a break towards the edge of the bridge because you just want to jump off that fucking bridge because the Jags piss you off so much. But that didn't happen today. I'm going to get into that, but I'm feeling pretty good about this team. But yeah, let's jump right into it. So Jags versus Titans post game. So what do all these images have in common? So on the left here, you have this one broad, Ariana Grande. I don't know who her little friend is. Both of them could play Skeletor in a He-Man movie. I don't know the other girl's name, but they're my first picture here. They're in a movie called Wicked. Every time these girls interview, it reminds me of a person or soldiers that have been in a foxhole in Vietnam just trying to fend off the Viet Cong because they just look like shell-shocked and they have PTSD. They also look like they haven't eaten in months, so I hope those young ladies are okay. But those two, that's what I have on the image to the left. I have my team, my fantasy football team on Sleeper, Jagging Off here in the middle. We put up a very pedestrian 108 points this week. I think our league average is about 150, so yeah, I'm well below the mark in that. And we'll get over the main contributor for that. You can probably take a wild guess. It's that bum BTJ. He couldn't even catch the clap on 103rd Street. He's an absolute bum, but we'll get into him. And then we have Cam Ward over here on the right. That's the Titans quarterback, number 1 draft pick from a year ago. So what do all these images have in common? In the immortal words of Ian Malcolm,
that is one big pile of shit.
That is one big pile of shit. I honestly didn't know they could stack shit that high when it comes to Cam Ward. He's about like 5'10". If you start from his toes all the way up to his head, that's just a big pile of shit. As far as Ariana Grande and whoever that other broad is in Wicked, I hope they're okay, but if you put them on top of each other, just like 1, 2, that's about 10 feet of shit that weighs about 72 pounds. So I didn't know they could stack shit that high either. And then my fantasy football team is just a big pile of shit. I am so dog shit in fantasy. And I mostly have one person to blame for being complete dog shit, and that is Mr. Brian Thomas Jr. himself. I'm keep on saying that. I'll get into that later. I'm trying to control my emotions. I don't want to make this all about Brian Thomas Jr. because the Jags played a pretty good game this week. But yeah, I'll get into him later. And then Cam Ward, I kept this quote around because I remember when that cocky bastard got drafted by the Miami Hurricanes. Drafted by the Tennessee Titans. He is a Miami Hurricane, like a typical Miami Hurricane. He's cocky. He said when he got drafted, I'd hate to be a Jacksonville Jaguar. And then he said to Travis Hunter, they're trying to get rid of you already. Travis Hunter, I love that dude. Like I said, I'll donate my LCL right now. Rip it right out of my knee. Any surgeon, I could go to a back alley. I don't even need a surgeon. They don't need to numb me up. Rip out my LCL and give it to that man. But he clapped back at Cam Ward and he said, we didn't want you anyways. We don't want you, Cam Ward. You are complete garbage and you're on a dumpster fire of an organization. I never really had a problem with any of the teams that the Jags played. I haven't been a fan of the Jags that long, honestly speaking. It's been about 6 years. I moved to Jacksonville in 2018, and I didn't really have an opinion of all the teams that Jacksonville played. I was just like, all right, we're playing an opponent. And that all changed in 2023 for me when the Jags went up to Tennessee, to Nashville, and they just had to win one game in order to make to the playoffs. And this coincidentally coincided. Oh, do you see that? Kind of sounded like Willy Wonka right there. But this coincided with a family vacation, which I decided to take to Nashville, Tennessee to watch the Jaguars. That's how much of a fan I am. I decided, as a family, we were going to take a vacation to Nashville to watch the Jags, hopefully make the playoffs because they only had to win that one game against Tennessee. And my brother lives up there in Chattanooga, so we were going to meet him up there. And my sister-in-law lives in Gatlinburg, so we were all going to meet him up there and make it a family event. But this really developed into why I hate the Tennessee Titans so much. So why do I hate the Titans so much? I got this slide here. We are still ass. Yes, you guys are ass. You guys are probably the worst run franchise in the NFL, honestly, but my hatred isn't stemmed from you guys being ass. That's just who you guys are. But what it stems from is, look at this slide here. The Titans ruined my family vacation. So I just went up to Tennessee to their sorry-ass stadium. It was just like, I think it's called the Nissan Stadium. It's as sorry as a Nissan Versa. I've drove those things today. They break down just like the Titans offense. But that stadium is garbage. I'm not surprised that they're building a new one because it is just a dump. It's not a pleasant place. You also have to walk. Like there's no parking around it really. You have to walk like over this bridge to get to it. It was a hike. And I had my 2-year-old, he was like 18 months at the time. I had him strapped to my back. So I was kind of walking down a bridge forever, walking to my own funeral because the Jags would eventually lose this game, which I'm not even mad that the Jags lost. But at that game, there was a pair of Titans fans that sat behind me. And my son was really young at the time. And I had my family there, my wife, who I love to death, my brother, who I love to death, and my sister-in-law, who I love. And I would want anyone to be treated with respect at a game. Even at the Jaguars games, I don't come after opposing fans. If they're at the game, I kind of let them be. But I had these two Titan fans talking so much shit to me the whole game. I'm not even going to get into some of the remarks they said were kind of very offensive. I will just say homosexual in nature, like calling me the F word. Not fuck. I'll say that whenever I want. But they were calling me some pretty rough names, and they were attacking my son too with some verbal stuff. So that kind of made me hate the team right off the bat. And the Jaguars lost the game. If you don't remember, that was the Jaguars team that had Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley, that bum. He was like the BTJ of the Jaguars before I knew BTJ, and before he was the vein of my existence. But in retrospect, Calvin Ridley was actually elite compared to BTJ. But anyways, the Titans, and he ended up going to the Titans, his sorry ass. I haven't heard much from him. since then. But the Jaguars ended up losing that game, and that was fine enough. But after the game, I was like, get me away from these fans, these Titans fans. Everyone says people in Tennessee are nice. I strongly disagree with that because I went out to a bar afterwards just to get a drink with my brother, my wife, and my sister-in-law. And I go to the bar, and guess what happens next? My wife gets hit on by a Titans fan in a Titans jersey right in front of me. Someone's just trying to hit on my wife. She has a huge rock on her finger. I'm standing right next to her, and I kind of just let it happen. Whatever. My wife, loyal, love that woman, you know. And I'm just like, couldn't believe this. And I'm like, I fucking hate this team. Like, I hope at that moment, I hoped at nothing but worse things, like terrible things for this franchise. I hope they ended up in a black abyss. And since then, they really have. I've prayed to God for that they've ended up in the NFL hell. And they have. So don't hit on my wife. And that is the second reason. And I'm going to flip over to this slide. I made this. So a big reason is Titans fans hit on my wife. I don't blame you, but fuck you, my dude, for hitting on my wife. You can see my wife over here to the left. She's a lovely lady. She has great skin, wonderful hair, a rockin' body. She produces great offspring. You can see my son right here. He's a golden boy. He's a beautiful little kid. And then I don't blame you, my dudes, because if you look over here, the average Tennessee broad is here to the right. This is what you find in Tennessee most of the time. You got a little Chosky packed over here on the lip. You got a horrible earring. They probably got a tramp stamp on them. They're surely rocking chlamydia. BTJ couldn't even catch the clap in Tennessee because he's a bum. But yeah, and then the only thing that's missing is a Titans shirt or a Titans symbol on her shirt. But at the end of the day, no one likes the Titans in Tennessee because they're a shitty franchise. They should have stayed in Houston where they belong, where people actually care about football. So you have a Tennessee shirt. So like I said, Titans fans hit on my wife. That's really that crossed the line for me. So I don't blame you, but fuck you, my dudes. And I wish nothing but the worst for your franchise. Getting that all off my chest. Let's move on with the game and by the stats. So Trevor Lawrence here. He had a pretty good day at the office. He was 16 of 27 for 229 yards and 2 TDs. I'm actually going to defend Trevor Lawrence in this video. I don't do this a lot for Trevor Lawrence because he's usually out there and you don't know what he's going to do. Like I've kind of used an analogy. In my house, it's very quiet during these games because my son sometimes takes an afternoon nap when I'm watching the away games. And the only thing you can hear is me and my wife's buttholes puckering during the game. It's just like a little because we're afraid every time he throws the ball, he's going to throw an interception. My wife went out to Sam's Club, God love her, and was picking up some food, and she walked in the house, and the first thing she asked me is how many interceptions Trevor Lawrence threw, and it was the third quarter, and I said none. And then she said, so BTJ's been dropping the ball, and I was like, no, surprisingly not. So my wife knows what's up with this team, but Trevor Lawrence had a good day. 16 of 27, 229 yards, and 2 TDs. Nothing's gonna pop out about these stats, but for him, this is like elite level. This is where we need Trevor Lawrence to be. And then on the other hand, you have this Miami Hurricane, Titan rockin' bum, Cam Ward here on the right. He was 24 of 38 for 141. I just don't see it for the guy. Like, I'm sure there's talent there, and his offensive line is terrible. They kind of remind me of the Bang bus. They just let anyone hop on that bus and just have their way with Cam Ward. It's like a prime episode of like Lana Star on there just getting banged out. They're terrible. It's hard to watch football, like watch Titans football. Like, I don't feel bad for the fans. I wish nothing but the worst for them, but I've been there as a Jaguars fan and watched some pretty bad football. I don't even think our Jaguars teams were as bad as this Titans team. They have a long way to go, and I'm really happy for it. I just hope they're in the abyss for probably the rest of their fans' lifehood, especially those fans that sat behind me in the game. I just hope they're unhappy the rest of their life, but I digress. I'm going to move on. So rushing yards. So Travis Etienne had a pretty rough day. 12 carries for 28 yards. Like I said in my other videos, if you follow me, the Jaguars' offensive line is really hit or miss. They can have a good game. Like that Chargers game, they were dominant. You just rarely see that from them. Trevor Lawrence got sacked 3 times today. They probably weren't opening up enough running lanes for Travis Etienne. He's pretty competent running back when you give him the rushing lanes. So the rushing attack wasn't really relevant today, but we didn't need that to beat those bums. The Titans are absolute shit show. It just kind of reminds me of a family dinner at Thanksgiving. It's dysfunctional as fuck, like for that team. They're complete garbage. It's like when my brother just brings up democratic and atheist stuff around my parents who are devout Catholics on Thanksgiving dinner. It's an absolute shit show. But I digress. So Tony Pollard was the rushing leader for the Titans. He had 10 carries for 60 yards. Now, I wouldn't say I would ever feel bad for the Titans because I don't. But if I was a Titans fan, which I'm not because I'm not a chode, I would be really upset that they didn't run the ball more. They let that bum Cam Ward throw it up 38 times for a paltry 141 yards passing. Tony Pollard had 10 carries for 60 yards. That's like 10. I'm not like a mathematician, but that's like 10 yards a carry. And their best drive was him, the very beginning of the game, just handing the ball off to him over and over again and letting him run the ball. So it's just perplexing that they moved away from the run. It didn't make any sense, but I don't care. I'm glad they didn't hammer the ball anymore. Yeah, that's enough said about that. Receiving yards, the man today was absolutely Mr. Jacoby Myers. That guy's just a breath of fresh air, and I just want to personally say, I love you, my dude. And if you ever need anything, like if you need me to like slash BTJ's tires so that he can't make it to the stadium to sign a new contract with us and they're forced to re-sign you, I'll do that for you, bro. Like you just are a breath of fresh air. Like he always catches everything thrown to him. He's smiling on the sideline. There was a perfect shot of him and the bum on the sidelines, and Jacoby Myers was smiling, kind of looking over at Trevor Lawrence and smiling like they just like made out in an alley like teenagers, after prom. So I don't know what was going on there, but like he was smiling at Trevor Lawrence, kind of like he was like his prom date, and BTJ was just sulking in the background, probably because he didn't get the ball because he can't get open because he's a bum. But Jacoby Myers really is just like, he's turning into the man. He could seriously have potential to be the number one wide receiver in Jacksonville. He might not be as big as BTJ. He may not be as fast as BTJ, but he sure as hell has better hands, and he sure as hell has a better attitude. And he just is probably a good locker room guy too. I'm sure that BTJ is sitting in the locker room and the reporter hands him a mic to talk at the end of the game, and he just drops it, and then the mic lands in this Gatorade that he dropped from the cheerleader or the ball girl, because he drops everything. He's an absolute bum. So as you can see, I hate BTJ, which I'm going to go over in a minute. But his receiving yards off the chart. I'm not going to pronounce this dude's name on the Titans. I don't even want to give it a go, but he had 4 receptions for 29 yards. I kind of wish Calvin Ridley, that Benedict Arnold would have played in this game. I really liked Calvin Ridley when he was on he had a lot of potential on the Jags, and he could get deep on occasion, which BTJ just seems to lose that ability, has lost that ability to go deep. Like even the announcers were like, he's our deep threat. When is that guy deep and catching a ball? Trevor Lawrence doesn't throw a great deep ball, I'll give you that, but this guy has no separation, and even Calvin Ridley could do that. But I kind of wish Calvin Ridley played today just so I could see him go over the middle and get his absolute blocks run by Devin Lloyd, or get decapitated by Josh Hines Allen for doing that dirty move to the Jags. I still remember that. I actually am really bitter about that because Calvin Ridley, I bought like a autographed jersey, a Jags jersey for Calvin Ridley, and I have it on display in my house, and we took that guy in after the dumbass got in trouble for gambling. We were like one of the only franchises to give him a shot, and he just burns us for money to play in Tennessee. Like, I get it. You got to make a living, but dude, and leave it to the Titans to give Calvin Ridley the contract that he got. Like, this team makes no sense. They're run like an absolute dumpster fire. Like, they had prime AJ Brown, and then they got rid of him for to sign Hopkins, who's old as dirt. Then they got rid of Hopkins, they signed Ridley as their new guy, who was turning 30 years old. Like, their organization makes no sense, and I'm glad. Like, Tennessee Titans fans are stuck with that. I would rub any Titans fan in the dirt, like in dog poop, like that. That's really my new life goal. I hate the Titans, as you can see, and that's enough said about that. Let's go into the by the stats. So I already talked about Trevor Lawrence. He had a great day at the office overall. These stats aren't going to jump out at you, but 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. He did get sacked 3 times. The Great Wall of Duval is not great at all. I wouldn't even call it a wall. I would call it a revolving door, a Duval, because they just let people, in Trevor Lawrence's kitchen and just beat the hell out of him. And Marissa Lawrence has to give him an ice bath and tell him everything's going to be okay because our offensive line is trash. I know it's getting beat up a little bit, but he's running back there for his life most time. I want that team, the offensive line back that was against the Chargers. Those guys could really play some football. Our rushing attack wasn't really relevant today. ETN had a 2.3 average, and then Bashal Tootin, he might still be banged up. He had a 2.1 average. Trevor Lawrence was our best running back. He had an 8.3 average, 3 carries, 25 yards, long of 14. Like I said, this is a really underrated area of Trevor's game. It's my boy right there with my Trevor Lawrence helmet. Cheers to the Jags winning again. 8-4, baby. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he can really run the ball. And I think that, in my opinion, they should be teaching that guy. If he doesn't see his first read, just run. Don't try to throw the ball more than 15 yards down the field. That's not your strong suit. If it's like a pass to Brenton Strange or Jacoby Meyer or Parker Washington, oh man, I hope Parker Washington's okay. God bless his sweet baby Jesus. Please just help him be okay. Like I said to Travis Hunter, and I said last week to Tim Patrick, who needs a pair of eyes because he couldn't find the ball, I'm willing to donate any limb to Parker Washington. We can go up to Oak Leafs Medical Center and they can take out any organ and I'll donate it to Parker Washington, just so he's healthy. I hope that guy's okay. But yeah, moving on to our receivers. Jacoby Meyer, he was the man. 6 receptions for 90 yards. Brenton Strange, he had 3 receptions for 45 yards and 1 touchdown. Brenton Strange, I was a little worried when the Jags decided to keep Brenton Strange over Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is a good ball player, and he always seemed to be there for Trevor Lawrence, and he also defended Trevor Lawrence's honor, which what I mean about that is whenever there was like a fight during the game, Evan Ingram was always in there to like beat some ass, and I get that same vibe from Brenton Strange. The announcers asked like a weird question trying to like get Brenton Strange to like call Trevor Lawrence out after his 3 interception game last week, and I think they asked, "You trust Trevor Lawrence?" which is just a wild question, but Brenton Strange was like, "Of course, dude, I trust Trevor Lawrence," which you need that type of attitude, and I feel like Brenton Strange is kind of like the security blanket for Trevor Lawrence, just like my wife is to me. She just makes me feel better, and I'm sure Brenton Strange is making Trevor Lawrence feel better in a different way, or maybe both ways. Who knows? But oh man, I'm going down to the bum, Brian Thomas Jr. I'm gonna get into this cat in a minute. So he didn't have a drop today, which was refreshing, but he only had 2 receptions for 28 yards. I'm going to get into him in a minute. So I'm moving past him because I've already ripped on him enough. We have Parker Washington. He only had 1 reception, but it was for 26 yards, and he got banged up. He got hurt. I really hope that man's okay. Tim Patrick, I'm also going to get into him in a minute, but he had 1 reception for 11 yards. That's pretty elite for Tim Patrick. And then Austin Tremmel, he had a 0 reception, 0 yards, 0 average, 0 touchdown on 4 targets. That's impressive to be that bad. Good for you, Tremmel. You're a bum. That's enough said about that. Let's go into the defense by the stats. Devin Lloyd, he's always close to leading this team in tackles. He had 5 solo tackles and then 3 assisted tackles. He's a dog. He's everywhere. It's like we have to re-sign that guy. He has the potential to be like one of the best linebackers in the league, honestly. He's been making a lot of plays this year. But the real guy that I'm going to highlight, and he's jumping right into it. We're not going to go over all the stats. I just copied and pasted this from Google. But let's go right into the Jag of the week. Look at that Jaguar. So majestic. By far the best cat in the NFL. You know, the Bengals are soft. I think a Jaguar would take down a Bengal. I don't know what do you guys think about that, but Jaguars kill crocodiles for fun, just like the Jaguars kill Titans for fun. So when we're talking about Jag of the Week, who is the best Jacksonville Jag of the week? To me, that's a no-brainer. My man, 2 weeks running in a row, I think. JHA, Josh Hines Allen. All right, I'm not going to talk crap about the last name anymore. I thought he should go back to Josh Allen because that guy was dominant. But this guy's really starting to come on. I don't need to post any more pictures of him missing on the side of a milk carton like that bum Trayvon Walker who never plays. But Josh Hines Allen is really coming on. And I think I have a slide with his stats in here. But he had 2 sacks today, and he was just wrecking Cam Ward. It was basically like just the Bang Bros like award show out there. Cam Ward was just getting his ass pounded. Like no homo on that, but it was just a impressive outing for Josh Hines Allen. He was a beast out there. Absolute dog. And then Devon Hamilton, I'm giving him a Jag of the Week's shout out too because that dude, all right, he didn't do anything on defense because he never does anything on defense. He's kind of a bum. But so what happened is our long snapper, basically for punts and for field goals, got hurt. Like his back got jacked up or something. I feel you. My back gets hurt all the time. I'm old as shit. But so this dude, Devon Hamilton, who's our defensive tackle, comes in and he's doing long snaps. And I would venture to say that guy probably hasn't done that ever, or maybe since high school, or they just did like if it's the Jags, Liam Cohen might have had him in like a circle and they were playing Duck Duck Goose to see who was going to go back there and long snap it. And Devon Hamilton happened to win and get that. So he did an excellent job. I was reading some like Facebook and Reddit comments about Devon Hamilton not playing well in that position. Well, no shit, Sherlock. It's kind of like in soccer. I'm a soccer fan as well. And it'd be like when your goalie gets a red card and you don't have a backup goalie and they just pick a player from the outfield to come and play goalkeeper. That's kind of what the situation reminded me of. And he did a really admirable job doing that. Like, are you kidding me? He went back there. None of our punts got blocked at all. I think our long snapper came back in the second half, but give the man his flowers. Like, that is difficult to do. He's an absolute bum on defense, but he has the potential to be a long snapper. Good for you. But Josh Hines Allen, you're a dog. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, and I do have some stats. I thought this. This is just for you guys though. I mean, where are you getting these stats at on any other Jags podcast? This is copy and paste master. Your boy Sean, by the way, is my name. Please like and subscribe on this video. I love doing these. They do take a little bit of time to do, but I'm on a night shift right now, and this is a night I have off, so I don't have shit going on. And I'm doing this because I love you guys. So here's the stats for Josh Hines Allen. So you can see in the Panthers, he had a typical Josh Hines Allen's game where it was 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, Mr. Zeros. He didn't have a sack until week 3, which was half a sack, and he was sitting on that sack record for most of the season. He had in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. I can count still. That's impressive. In the first 7 games, he had a whopping 0.5 sacks, which for a guy of Josh Hines Allen's caliber is just unacceptable. But as you can see here with Salt Bay right here, he's starting to cook now. Look at this. He's starting to cook now. The last few games, in the Raiders, he had 1.5 sacks. Texans, he wasn't. He got 0, but Chargers, he had a sack. Cardinals, he had a sack, and today he had 2 sacks. I think how far this team makes it is really going to depend on Josh Hines Allen, because you can't count on Trayvon Walker. That guy's an absolute bum. He doesn't even play anymore, honestly. I don't know what's wrong with him. Don't get me started on that. Everyone knew we should have took Aiden Hutchinson. I'm getting a migraine just thinking about that and how much he's not good. But Josh Hines Allen, he's a good player, and now he's starting to put up the stats, and he's starting to change some games. We really need that going down the towards the end of the season and eventually into the playoffs, which I hope we make, and I think we will. I know this was against the Titans, and that's kind of like picking on a redheaded stepchild, and kind of like take him in the back of a woodshed and putting him down like Old Yeller, but it's kind of unfair. Like, I get it. He has a shotgun and Old Yeller has rabies, but at the end of the day, he's playing better football. Like, he's making an impact in the game, and he's just playing a lot better, and that was really nice to see. So he's starting to cook. Josh Hines-Allen and Devon Hamilton are my Jags of the week. So let's jump right into it, to Trevor Watch. So normally I put like how many picks he has, and that's usually like how many booger picks I call him, and I have an image of Trevor picking his nose, kind of like this. But no, I have an interesting take this week on the Trevor Watch. So I have if there's any math majors in here, I have a mathematical equation for you. So here we have Tim Patrick, that bum that plays for the Jags. I have him on the bottom. He had an elite game today. He had 1 reception for 11 yards. And then I have, with all due respect, Tim Patrick's sister up here above him, plus Will Smith. That's Will Smith at the Academy Awards or Golden Globes or whatever. No one watches that shit anymore. But that's him looking pissed off, like he's about to slap someone. And then you have plus again, and you have Jacksonville Jesus, Trevor Lawrence. So what does this all equal for the Trevor Watch? So I'll tell you what it equals. You ready? With all due respect, ma'am, and I'm talking to you, Tim Patrick's sister, keep my quarterback's name out your damn mouth. You bum. Honestly, with all due respect, I don't know if you guys saw, I wanted to do a preview video this week, but with Thanksgiving going on this week, I didn't have a lot of time. So what I mean with this is, apparently after the Jaguars-Cardinals game, Tim Patrick's sister took to social media. I don't know if it was Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but she wrote, "trash quarterback." Now, I get it. Tim Patrick, that's their family. Of course his sister is trying to defend him, but he's calling Trevor Lawrence trash player. Look at your family. Like, if your brother is a trash wide receiver, he almost lost us the game against the Cardinals. Like, if there's any person to call out, like, don't call Trevor Lawrence out that game. When your brother, the game against the Cardinals, he had 0 receptions, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns. The most important play in the game in overtime, he looked lost in the sauce. He didn't know where he was at. He looked like my 4-year-old in preschool. He didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, honestly, like, and you're calling Trevor Lawrence trash? Like, with all due respect, man, keep your quarterback's name out your fucking mouth. Like, you're a bum. Like, your brother's a bum. Like, honestly, I'm not afraid to call anyone out, anyone a bum. Like, I would call my brother a bum if he was my brother is a social worker, and the guy is an excellent at his job. But if he was a social worker and one of his clients wasn't getting the services they needed from him, I would call him a bum-ass social worker. Like, just because they're your family doesn't mean you should defend them blindly. Like, your brother is a bum. Like, he almost lost us the game. Like, the guy does nothing, and you're going to call Trevor Lawrence a bum? Here's the facts about Trevor Lawrence. And this goes back into my typical Trevor watch. Is he an all-star quarterback? No. Is he a top 10 quarterback? No. Is he a top 5 quarterback? No. Is he a top 15 quarterback? Maybe not. He's mid. He's a little mid. But hate him or love him, he wins games somehow. I don't know. They call it the Trevor Lawrence experience. It's the Trevor Lawrence shit show. Like, you don't know what the hell this guy's going to do most of the time. He's such a wild card. He reminds me of me being drunk in my 20s. Like, you never knew what the hell was going to happen. Like, you didn't know who I was going to bring home. It could have been anyone. Like, you never knew if I was going to run out of a bar streaking or whatever. I had problems. Like, Trevor Lawrence has problems. Like, but at the end of the day, he wins games. Like, I heard on the radio, this is his 5th season. He's going to have 3 winning seasons. There's only 3 out of 5. There's only one quarterback in the history of this organization that has more winning seasons with Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars are like the Browns of the South. Like, I love the Jaguars, but we are traditionally not a good franchise. And to call a guy trash that has led this team to 3 winning seasons, and we're about to go to the playoffs again, God forbid, I don't want to jinx us. You call him a bum. With all due respect, man, keep your fucking mouth shut. Like, That's enough said by that. And I even have one extra for you. You ready for this? Here's Tim Patrick's replacement. Here he is. Ready? I got a guy that can replace him. Tim Patrick replacement. My 4-year-old son, Tristan Lee Fitzpatrick. Now, he's not as tall as Tim Patrick. He might not be as fast as Tim Patrick. He can catch a little bit. I'm teaching him. But he could go out there and do what Tim Patrick does week in and week out. He could get you 0 yards receiving, 0 yards touchdown, 0 touchdowns, 0 catches. He could do that week in and week out. And he sure as hell could look lost on the field, just like Tim Patrick. So with all that being said, I already have a replacement. Tim Patrick's sister, shut up. It just pisses me off. But I digress on that. I know that was a little tough. But honestly, ma'am, keep your mouth to yourself. Let's defend. If there's justification for it, cool. But that was just ridiculous. So moving on. Turd of the week. It's not Tim Patrick. We're moving right into the turd of the week. The man, the myth, the legend, the vein of my absolute existence. One and only. 4 weeks running. Turd of the week. Brian Thomas Jr. And I have a special guest presenter on this one. This is, of all the crap that I talk about, BTJ. BTJ, he couldn't catch the cat clap on 103rd Street. He couldn't get laid in Tennessee from one of those Tennessee girls. He's an absolute bum. But I have a special guest presenter of how I really feel about this guy, and cue it right now. This is my good friend John Hammond from Jurassic Park, the original 1993-1994 film, really the only good Jurassic Park movie. So here's how I feel, and it's a quote by John Hammond. Go ahead, I'm going to play this clip.
Hello? Yes?
I really hate that man.
All right, so we're back. That's how I feel about him. I really hate that man. This dude, and it's kind of personal for me now with Mr. BTJ, because what he's doing is he's not only not doing anything on the field, but he's really hampering my chances in fantasy football. I had to play my brother this week in fantasy football, and it would have just been embarrassing losing to my little brother. You can see by the stat line, I barely squeaked it out because the only team that's more ass than my team in my league is my brother's team, which is very ass. If my team's ass, my brother's team is like Tennessee Titans ass. So I barely squeaked out a win over him. I only put up about 108 points, and my brother put up a very meager 74 points. Now, Brian Thomas Jr., I nicknamed him Stonehands on my team. It's because that's what he is. He can't catch the ball. He, in his return, he was projected to have 12 fantasy points. I don't know who makes these projections. They obviously don't watch Brian Thomas Jr. play football, but he contributed 4.8 points. He's putting up roughly the same points as you can see a comparable Darnell Mooney. This guy is supposed to be our number one wide receiver. This just pisses me off with him because, and I know I'm angry, and I shouldn't be this angry after a Jags win, and I really am happy, but I'm really frustrated with him because this dude was supposed to be our number one wide receiver. We are terrible at drafting players as an organization, and Brian Thomas Jr. was that one we just thought we hit a home run on. Last year was just a good year. He dropped the ball a couple times last year, but I can take the drops if you're getting some production and you're getting open. I just don't think this man gives a shit about playing football. I think he got butthurt. Here's what I think happened. I think he just got butthurt that we drafted Travis Hunter. Because the spotlight wasn't on him and he got all sulky and he had a bad training camp. This dude he's been terrible all year. One, he's been hurt. Which isn't great. I'm not going to hold that against him completely. I don't know what injury it was. It might have been in the vaginal region for him, but he's just not been good. He's not available, and then when he's in, he can't catch the ball. And then games like this where he's just pretty much irrelevant. He's supposed to be our downfield threat. And really, and this is kind of on Trevor Lawrence, and I know I just defended the man, but Trevor Lawrence, he just throws the ball fast as shit. That's his throw. my theory kind of behind that is he doesn't like most of his wide receivers. So whenever he throws to BTJ, he's probably just throwing an absolute missile at him to try to like take his head off. Like that's kind of my theory about that. But BTJ is supposed to be our guy that's getting deep. Like he's supposed to be beating players deep. I don't know if he's like not as fast as last year. He's not putting in as much effort, but the dude is never open downfield. Like he's always covered, and then like when he does go downfield and he goes for the contested ball against the defender, he never gets it. He never comes down with it. Him and Tim Patrick, they should go on a bum vacation together to Nashville, where all the bums reside. That'd be good for them. But that's all I have to say about Brian Thomas Jr. You're single-handedly tanking my fantasy football team. I had a choice between you and Jonathan Taylor. Basically to choose. I'm in a legacy league where you get to pick two players. I had Jamar Chase, Brian Thomas Jr., and Jonathan Taylor. Not talking about Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the Disney guy, who's probably better at football than BTJ. But I had to pick two keepers, and I ended up picking Brian Thomas Jr. over Jonathan Taylor. I wish I could go back in time and personally slap myself for making that decision, because that was a bad one, Sean. I've never made... it's probably one of the top 5 worst decisions I've made in my lifetime, and I've made some bad ones. So, yeah, BTJ, you're my bum of the week for the 4th week running. Absolute bum. But all right, let's move on to the Buckman Bridge Watch. Here we go. So, if you don't know what the Buckman Bridge Watch is, here it is. So there's this bridge in Jacksonville that connects the nice side of Jacksonville, which is where like my babysitter is, and which is over in like the Mandarin area and the beaches area. So, and then there's a shitty side of Jacksonville where I live at, which is kind of like where 103rd Street, Orange Park, and Oakleaf is. If you're from Jacksonville, you know what I'm talking about. I live in the shitty area. But we have to drop off my son at a babysitter, so we cross this bridge when we go to the games, if I don't bring my son to the game. And many times after these games, I just feel like getting out of the car and just jumping off that fucking bridge, just because why not? Fuck it. Like, watching this team is tough. But not today. I have a new thing, and you know what it is? Cue the music. As my boy Gandalf said, hope is kindled. Look at this, boys and girls. We are first in the AFC South. Can you believe that? We have 8-4 Jaguars after we beat the Tennessee Titans. Beat the brakes off of them. They're bums. I hate their jerk-off fans. I hate their jerk-off cheerleaders. I hate their jerk-off colors. I just hate them because they're a bunch of jerk-offs. But we beat the Tennessee Titans' ass. Go home. I hope all their fans are crying tonight. And we're top of the AFC South, where we belong. The Texans, I really think they're coming on. There's only one thing I hate more than a Titan, and that's the Texans. But I'll get into that in a different video, maybe. This one's been going long because I have a lot to rant about. But if you can see this, as my boy Gandalf says, hope is kindled. We're on a little bit of a run. 3 in a row is uncharted territory, and I've personally never seen the Jags have a double-digit win season. And you can look down here, like we are set up for a good finish to the season. Like, we have the Colts at home next week, which I'm not saying we're going to win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose, and I don't even think I'd be that upset if we lost, because the games going down the stretch are very winnable. I think we might get that one at home. We are very good at the Colts at home. It's like death taxes and the Jags beating the Colts at home. We usually beat them at home. That would get us to 9 wins. We have the Jets at home. That's a very winnable game. I think we should absolutely win that game because Justin Fields is a running back playing quarterback. There's no excuses to lose to those bums. The Jaguars at the Broncos. Now, that's a tough matchup. I don't know if we'll win that one, but I have the game on right now that I'm kind of watching over here. And I'm not super impressed with the Broncos. They're kind of hanging on for dear life against the Commanders. And the Commanders are pretty dog shit this year. So, and then we finish up with the Colts in Indianapolis and the Titans again. I see at least 3 wins, maybe 4. the rest of the way out. I would even take 3 wins. 3 wins gets us to a solid 11 wins, and I think that would be enough to win the division. If we get to 12, I think that's for sure winning the division. Then if you look at the Colts schedule the rest of the way, they got it tough. They play the Jags twice, Seattle, who beat the brakes off of us, 49ers, who are a very good team, and then the Texans, who are coming on the road. So the Colts don't have it easy on the way out. So for this week, the Buckman Bridge Watch, I'm giving a 0 out of 10 likelihood I'm jumping off the bridge, and hope is kindled. But I will save this with a caveat. So, as my boy Gandalf said, hope is kindled, but then again, my boy was high as hell on that journey. Gandalf always was smoking the pipe on his journey. And you can see Trevor Lawrence with his lucid eyes, and he's starting to read some defenses, and he starts losing his mind. I could see things going awry too, so I don't want to jinx it, but I think we're in a really good spot for a finish. Like, I honestly do. Like, this is the best I felt about a Jaguars team since I've been a fan. I think what would really help us kind of finish this out on a strong note and take the division is if we just get solid quarterback play from Trevor Lawrence. I hope you're watching this. I defended you this video, my man. No one talks shit about my quarterback except me, especially not Tim Patrick's sister. With all due respect, you're a bum. So I hope that he finishes up strong. The defense needs to stay healthy. Hopefully get that bum Trayvon Walker back, and he actually does something. I think one thing, a major area that we need to improve on is these penalties.
Jacksonville.
Liam Cohen,
the community.
my man. I'm not going to say a bad word about Mr. Duval himself. That guy's been a breath of fresh air as well. Like, he has his team going in the right direction. I love listening to his locker room speeches. He might be the only dude in Jacksonville that drops more F-bombs than me in his post-game speeches. But I think one thing that you could work on is we need to get these penalties under control. Like, I couldn't imagine what our football team would look at like if we had half as many penalties as we had. Like, we are the most penalized team in the end of the day. Like, we are getting like 8 or 9. I saw a graphic, 8 or 9 penalties a game. If we cut that in half to like 4, I couldn't imagine how good this team would be with Trevor Lawrence playing a little bit better. I think the sky's the limit. Like, because we've been kind of getting by with like all these penalties and kind of mediocre quarterback play. I love you, Trevor. You've been kind of mediocre. You're definitely not trash, but if we can shore those things up, I just see the sky as the limit for this team. I'm not saying we're gonna win the Super Bowl, but if we Denver just won. I kind of have this game in the background, but that's gonna be a tough game. But if we can shore that stuff up, we surely will make a little bit of run in the playoffs, especially if we win the division and we have a home game. Jacksonville will be rocking. Our fans will be hammered. We'll be ready for a dogfight. We might even, whoever's coming in here, last projection I saw was the Chargers. I'd love to beat some Charger ass again. No one cares about the Chargers, but anywho, this video is running long, and if you guys enjoy this, please like and subscribe. This is Jaggin Out, your boy for Jacksonville's 5th best coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, you guys have a great week, and God bless, and I'll see you on the next one. And I'll finish this off with a Duval. And Liam Cohen, can you hit me with a
Jacksonville, the community. Duval. How do we do this together?